Hi everybody, my name's Scherbie, and today we're doing a expert endless challenge with CheckPointProfessor here on YouTube. We both, I saw CheckPointProfessor and Rune doing this a couple weeks ago, and CheckPointProfessor reached out to me and said, hey, would you like to do that? And I said, yes, let's do it. So today we're going to be basically playing through Endless Expert, and every time we beat a level we get 1 point, and every time we game over we get minus a point. There is skipping available, and those are the basic rules. How you doing, CheckPointProfessor?
I'm doing awesome. I'm really excited to be here. I'm really excited for this competition. Thank you for hosting it.
No, you're welcome. Thank you. So if we don't have any questions, let's get started.
All right.
You want to count us down?
Let's do it. Should I count down? We're going to start a new game of Endless Expert. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
All right. Cool. Well, CheckPointProfessor, can I first hear a little bit about you?
Yeah, you bet. I think the nuts and bolts. I am the CheckPointProfessor. I play Super Mario Maker 2 on Twitch and YouTube. As well as I am a full-time professor of video game design at the University of Utah.
Oh, wow. So how did you get started into Twitch then, if you are a full-time professor?
Funny story. Previous to being a full-time professor, I worked for Disney Interactive making video games for nearly 10 years before I switched to the university. And 1 year, my director at the U asked me if I would like to go to a TwitchCon because they had received some free tickets, essentially. Oh, this is a shell jump level. Oh, hard garbage. Okay, we're gonna skip that. It would be if I was good enough at shell jumps, I would be able to clear that. And so he invited me to a TwitchCon. Never really heard of it. One of the undergrad students was eager to go. He was heavy into Twitch, and so I went to the 2017 TwitchCon.
Oh, cool.
And not knowing what to expect, and I was blown away, honestly, by the passion of all these content creators. Like, they were just so excited about everything. But more than that, on the bottom floor, there was a less busy section, right, where a lot of the artists were. They called it Artist Alley.
Okay.
And it was all the creative art streamers. And I'm an artist as well, and so I actually got my start streaming art. So I would do a lot of art and drawing on Twitch and had a lot of fun. At the U, I teach level design courses as well, and when Super Mario Maker 2 or even 1 came out, I'd had people suggest that I played. I didn't really know what it was. So my original Twitch name was Gabriel Olsen Art.
Okay.
And later on, I ended up getting into Mario Maker. I was just blown away of all the cool creative levels that people would send me.
Right, which is, yeah.
And so I started streaming, and eventually I got the name of CheckPointProfessor and switched over. And I still do art streams, but primarily it has been these type of games. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
If there was something that I could say about being a professor and doing it all on stream, I think that is one way to gain points with your students, would it not be?
Well, I think they love it, but the other thing is, honestly, even before the pandemic, I was doing a lot of playtesting and stuff on stream because it is it's an awesome format for doing playtesting.
Right. I feel like people can see their work being done and see exactly how you're doing it, like all your thought processes.
Exactly, and bigger than that, they can see my emotions.
Right.
So I always tell people it's not about what I say, it's about how I play what you have designed.
Right.
And so if I'm frustrated, I may not be talking, but I'm gritting my teeth and I'm just like, what the heck? I'm getting angry, or I quit, and it's just and they can replay it.
Right.
So even if a team member is not there, they can then go watch it later. Anyway, I'm a huge fan of the medium for game design. It's just awesome.
That is so cool. I don't know if you know this about me, and my YouTube probably doesn't know this about me. I studied for a long time to become a civil engineer, and one of the things that I love to do is actually talk to people and like teach and like just like have good relationships with people. And it would have been my dream to become a teacher had I not started streaming, probably.
Yeah, that's awesome. I actually never planned on being a teacher. It just kind of.
Oh yeah, how'd that happen?
Well, funny story. So I was working at Disney Interactive. I was there for about 8 years as a senior level designer, and eventually the studio shut down. And I had gotten my master's degree at the U, and I had had a few different job offers at some other studios, etc. And I thought I would be a teacher maybe down the road, and the U was kind enough to kind of transition me from the industry to being a full-time professor, and that was kind of the end of the story. So it was really through Disney shutting down.
Right.
And so that's how it
did you work
happened.
on like what was that?
Disney Infinity?
What was that? Yeah, Disney Infinity.
Yeah, Disney Infinity, all the Cars 2, Toy Story 3. Toy Story 3 is where I started and kind of cut my teeth.
Okay.
But yeah, I was there for all the Infinity series, had a blast. Finally, 15 minutes in, or 5 minutes in, I got my first level.
Nice, way to go. I may have won one or two.
Oh boy. And not even a break in a sweat. No frustration.
I don't know what you're talking about. What? I give the time over. Okay.
No, essentially that's kind of my story, but
Well, that's awesome. No, like I played Disney Infinity and I absolutely loved it. So that's kudos to you. I wish I knew. So I know that for me, I took classes to like try to learn some of those things, and it just never clicked. So, how did you know that you wanted to design games then? Where did that come from?
Oh, sure. So originally, like I've always been an artist. I've always enjoyed doing art, and I got my undergrad in Oregon, the Art Institute of Portland. And I wanted to be a 3D artist, so I love doing 3D artwork, ZBrush, that kind of stuff.
Right.
And had gotten some jobs. Actually, one of my first jobs was at Leica. If you remember Leica, they made Coraline, box trolls. But they had a commercial division where I was doing 3D modeling on like M&M's commercials and stuff.
Okay.
And at that time, that was kind of hard to get your foot in the door in games companies, so I was doing the film thing, and it was a lot of fun. And someone I knew worked at Disney who said, "Gabe, I think you'd be a good level designer," and I was like, "I hate coding, I'm not gonna do that, but I need a job." So I started as an intern at Disney, and turns out I really loved it, and so I really became that became a big thing that I didn't know that I was really excited about. Some of the visual coding, creating those moments, breaking out.
So I'm guessing you've learned how to code now.
So not so visual coding. I can script like I don't know how many game engines you're familiar with, but I can code things out in like Unreal Engine using their visual scripting language.
Right.
But
so
I'm not.
I honestly don't even know what that means.
I'm not. So essentially, have you played Game Builder Garage?
Yes.
Okay, so
I've seen people play it.
Yeah. So I stream that as well because I love that. Kind of for the same reason. I love playing people's creations.
Right.
Essentially, that's a poor man's Unreal Engine.
Okay.
Is that they have things in visual scripting? They're called nodes. Mm-hmm. In like Game Builder Garage, they're called nodons. They make them cute little characters. But really, if you picked up Game Builder Garage, for anyone out there, any kids wanting to get into coding, it's actually a pretty amazing intro to it. A lot of it's a lot of the same stuff that we do in industry. They kind of simplify it, right? There's not as much you can do. But essentially, it's like Unreal Engine on the Nintendo Switch.
Well, that's really cool. Well, maybe I'll have to go get that because I would love my kids to get into coding, and they do want to play video games like all the time, like most kids, I'm sure.
So what's kind of surprised me too about that is it's not a crazy popular game,
right?
But the fans are pretty hardcore.
Are they? Is it similar to Mario Maker then with that?
Very similar to it. You can do. I found people asking me when I'm going to do viewer levels. I actually did some recently. But as far as YouTube goes in the algorithm, my Game Builder Garage videos do way better than Mario Maker.
Interesting.
So as an alternative, if you want to try something else with your community,
right?
Can't go wrong with that one.
That is good to know. What the fish is happening in this level? Oh, figured it out. Well, cool. I don't know. I'm trying to think through this level right now. I'm supposed to have some kind of key. and I don't know where I'm supposed to have gotten it from.
I'm skipping all over the place. So I've heard that rumor has it that Nintendo recently changed some of the algorithms in Endless Expert. That is supposed to be allowing a lot more hot garbage levels through. I don't know. Don't know what the truth is behind that, but
I don't know either. But I have heard the same thing. Let's see.
Okay, I found a hold right speedrun.
Say that again.
Found a hold right speedrun. I'm hoping it treats me right.
Nice.
Shoot.
I don't know where I'm going in life.
42-second speedrun. We can do this.
You can do it. Do it.
Without losing all my lives. And it says, another speedrun I made 60 seconds. It's the title. That's awesome. All right.
And it was a 40 seconds that the
yeah, world record. So there's obviously some leeway to it.
Got plenty of time. You can do this.
Dude, I appreciate your support. I mean,
you're welcome. That's one of my favorite parts about community. So I was a civil engineer, but I also worked full time as a hall advisor, is what it's called, fish. And one of my favorite things was being a community builder there.
Yeah.
How do you feel building a community has helped you as a Checkpoint professor?
Oh yeah. So streaming and okay, here we go. Streaming and building a community has been huge, giving me a whole new tool under my belt as a professor. That I didn't have before, right? So it's made my videos, my content much better, especially during the pandemic. It was pretty easy to seamlessly move over to Zoom. It's helped me be honestly a better public speaker. I actually created a game streaming class at the University of Utah that has been very popular as well.
I believe
so I have a whole class dedicated around building a platform. And I kind of consider it kind of a mix between really public speaking and like video production. Because that's the big part of it, is just speaking to the community. What do they want to hear? Helping to define who you are. And there's a lot of psychology to it. So it's made me more confident as well as a teacher, right?
Did you go back and get your PhD from this?
I got a master's degree.
Okay. Did you have that before you started teaching, I'm assuming, then?
No, I actually got that while I was at Disney.
Oh, okay.
Dang it. I think I was overly confident that this level would be a good one. No, so I think that's a big thing as far as group management, working with people. It's helped me. It also helps you curate your thoughts. There's something, when I first started teaching, was at Mount Hood Community College back in Oregon when I was still working at some other places.
Right.
2 seconds. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is a weird one. When I first started teaching, just being able to verbalize what you were doing physically,
right,
was difficult. Like, yeah, I'd be up there teaching modeling or some art, and I'd be like, okay, is it the left mouse button or the right mouse button? And what that taught me immediately was the basics of what I was doing as an artist that I was used to doing myself without thinking, right? To be able to verbalize your action to someone else is a huge teaching benefit.
Right.
And so
they can learn better from you just seeing you kind of struggle, maybe? Is that what you're saying?
Not even struggling, but for me being able to say what I'm doing.
Okay.
Right? So
right.
It helps you kind of think and verbalize through the process.
Totally.
And so one of the things I've learned in streaming is I probably over-communicate, right? So in the chat, I usually read whoever I'm responding to. I don't just respond to somebody in chat. I read what they said and then I respond to it.
I think that's big. I think a lot of people don't do that.
They don't do it, right? And so you never know if somebody wasn't able to see the chat or if this is replayed later. They're like, what the heck who's he even talking to, right?
Exactly.
And so little things like that. Honestly, it's a lot of little things that I think help improve who you are as an educator and just a communicator in general. Not to say I'm even all that good at it, but I would be far worse without it, right?
Right.
This level
totally.
sucks.
I think I think I see what you're saying, and I think if there was a way for somebody to become a professor, I don't know where I'm going with this question, but how do you feel? Never mind. Let's just move on from that question. I don't. I haven't done a interview in years. It feels like.
You're doing great. You're doing great.
Oh, thanks. I actually don't know if I've done like interviews for jobs where I've interviewed people, but I don't think I've ever actually interviewed anybody.
Well, let's do some job interview questions, right? So what?
Job interview questions?
Yeah. What
no,
is?
I never want to go back on a job again.
No, I'll go first. Scherbie, can you ever tell me a real uncomfortable situation you had with somebody else and how you resolved it?
Yeah. So I was making a video with a good friend, and that this is now. I don't know if that's where you.
No, this is great. And so that must have been incredibly embarrassing and probably paralyzed you physically out of embarrassment, right?
No, not really. I'm dominating. I'm actually still dominating these levels.
It did not lose your stride. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
how many have
question.
you cleared?
I think one, dude.
You can do it. Come on.
Oh.
I'm at 4 currently.
I would like to. This is you probably weren't expecting this, Scherbie. This is a special stream. I'm officially retiring from Super Mario Maker 2.
Oh yeah.
I've had a good run, but I'm just too crap.
You're too what?
Too crap.
Oh crap.
Not very good.
I thought you were using something that your students are using now for some word. And
I'm too garbage.
Well, crap. That is a word for that. So that is a question I do have with your students, and that's a lot of what I see when I'm watching you is their work and things that they've done with their projects throughout the year. What kind of games do you feel like most of your students like, the genre that your students like to make?
Well, let's see. So a lot of times we do limitations to them. Like we purposely don't allow multiplayer games.
Okay.
For the reason that it's a bit of giveaway, right? The gameplay is all how you interact with each other, not how you create a game that reacts with you. So we do place limitations. I know the last couple of years it seems like we've had quite a few horror games. For some reason, they're very popular.
Right. I haven't played a single one of those.
Yeah, we do end up with some side scrollers. We actually had a TRPG game this year that I was very impressed with. We don't have a lot of those.
What does the T stand for?
I'm trying to remember. Technical role-playing game? Tactical.
Okay.
Role-playing game. Yeah, I believe.
So kind of like a Fire Emblem?
Yep.
Okay.
And so that was really impressive. We tend to get we get the occasional side scroller, some VR games. Actually, a wide variety. What we do is we don't give them any limitations. Typically what we do is we have every single student in our classes pitch a game. So they have to create a one-page document, and then we go through a process of having each of them vote on which one they would like to work on. Eventually we form some small teams around a bunch that were voted on, and they will prototype them, and then we'll go through the voting process again. So eventually, through that refining process, we come up with 5 or 6 games. The prototypes worked. The students all thought they were successful. We'll have some industry people come take a look at them as well and kind of give their 2 cents. And so we really like to have it be student-driven. We like the games they work on for them to be passionate about it, and then they form teams around that.
That's so cool.
So we do end up with we might have some VR games. We might have some horror games, some side-scroller games, some platforming games. So it's really a huge variety. It's a lot of fun.
That is way sweet. The what is there one game that you feel like has been the best? I don't know if that's allowed to be answered.
So there's not any that are the best. We have both capstone and undergraduate. I can say some of the successes that we've had in the past. I know.
Yeah, sure.
With our original cohort, with cohort 1 of our graduate games, they made a little horror game called Eerie. And part of what we look at, I have this conversation with students all the time, is the difference, because a lot of times students want to sell their games for money. And I always talk about the comparison between dollars and downloads and which one's more valuable, right? So I always kind of try to teach them that, hey, just getting people to play your game is very valuable.
Right.
And what they use sometimes to evaluate that is downloads. How many downloads did you get, right? So you might sell your game for $10. Oh, how are you supposed to beat this? And I'm toast. And my first game over. But you might, you might be able to sell it for $10 and only sell, like, make a few $100s or even a few thousand. Split that amongst a team. It's not a lot of money. But if you can really hype up your game, get people invested, and just download it for free, if you get 1 million downloads, you may as well have made $1 million at that point. Because when you go looking for a job, it's like, hey, look what I can do for your company, type of thing. And so, one of our first games, Eerie, ended up being picked up by PewDiePie at the time. This was 20 years ago. Right. And ended up getting an insane amount of downloads because everyone just followed him. We had one 2 years ago called We Went Back, a really nicely polished, quick little horror game. Was played by several prominent streamers at that time. And this is, once again, where Twitch streaming is a huge way to get your game out there.
Right.
Had millions of views on YouTube and just an insane amount of downloads, incredibly positive press on Steam. And then a few weeks ago was just played again by Markiplier. So has just kind of resurged that game in popularity. So those are some of the example where...
What is this game called again?
We Went Back.
We Went Back?
Yeah, definitely take a look at that. But
it's a horror game too?
Yeah, it's a horror game. Yeah, definitely check it out. And then I will say this, a big shout out to our recent group of grad students. We just went through the time, and I'm just kind of making a dialogue here. Scherbie was a judge at our Mario Maker competition at our launch party at EAE, but we also celebrated about 20 student projects that have been published either on Steam or Google Play. And I've been trying to play through all those this summer, and much like you and I playing the Super Mario Maker 2 and being blown away at the creativity and beautiful creations people make just on Mario Maker 2. Right. Like these indie games that our students create, like I am constantly just blown away by them. So support indie games is what I have to say. So every student we have is a success, really. So.
Oh, good to hear.
All right, so you stomped me. I think I ended up with an awesome 0 on this one.
Oh, we're done?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Did you tell me to stop? I might have.
I didn't. I was yapping.
Scared.
I was talking.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I got you talking. I think that was my whole point. If I stomped you, then domination ensues. I was listening and I looked over and was hoping that my recording was still going, and it was. Oh. And I thought it said 47 seconds, and I was going a little cuckoo for that. But anyway,
I'm so excited. It worked.
We'll finish off there then. I think I hit 5 clears to 0. But what is the most important is that we had fun and that we're supporting each other.
Yeah, I hope to do this again sometime.
Yeah, thank you so much, CheckPointProfessor, for inviting me to do this. If you want to check him out, I'll put his links to YouTube and Twitch down below. He does play games other than Mario Maker 2, like he was saying, but I would definitely suggest him for all games as well as Mario Maker 2. But as for us, if you want to go check out the first video, we'll put it up here. And if you want to check us both out, we'll put links below for other live streaming events as well. Links galore. Links galore, exactly. Thank you very much, CheckPointProfessor, and we'll see you guys next time.
See you, everybody. All right, I'm going to hit stop.
Sounds good, me too.